Hi everyone, today I'm going to go over how to cut and glue your collage onto your watercolor background. So you should have already finished your assignment where you had to select 10 responses from your 35 questions, glue them onto construction paper, and now you have also finished your watercolor background painting. I already started doing this in first period because as the periods go on, I'm going to be adding, and tomorrow after sixth period I will have finished it, and then I will post it so you guys can see it. So what I like to do is, first of all, I like to have all my supplies ready. So I have my glue stick, I have my scissors, my work, and then I would, if I were to be doing this on my own, I would cut everything first, and then I would start with the larger, bigger words, because it's a lot easier to glue smaller things on top of larger things. And again, you need to use the 10 questions that you've answered, your 10 words. You can definitely add more, but at least do the 10. One of them has to be your name. So I looked to see which one was the larger one from the 3 sections that I have, and I found teacher. And if you look at the way I cut this, because I kind of did it like zigzag a little bit, I cut it in the direction that the letters are. You can cut it however you want, but the only thing with cutting, let me cut the cake so you can see it. So I left enough space so I can cut messy, but then I'm going to go in and I'm going to leave a border so I can see the construction paper, because then what's the point of gluing it onto construction paper if I can't actually see the work? You see? So then I'm going to go in and cut. And if I did it straight, then I'm going to cut straight. And if I didn't, then I'm going to follow the curves that the shapes have. Try not to leave a really large outline. And so if I look at it, so I placed the teacher one down, and then I went in and I placed my name. You can work with this painting horizontally, or you can do it vertically. How you do it is up to you. The way you glue things is up to you. I'm just trying to give you tips on how to manage this. So you have all these words already cut. Let's pretend that all of this I have already cut. I'll start off with the ones that, if I only did 10, well, I have to use all 10. But if I did more, I'll start off with the words that I like the most, and also the larger ones. And then I'll place them. And as I'm doing this, I'll also place the smaller ones, and I can overlap them if I want to. Then, once I have an idea of what I want to do, because I probably will change my mind a couple of times and say, no, I want the cake here, or I want it here, if it's in this section, or if it's here. Then once without gluing it, I've just placed them on top, I'll take a picture of it, because that'll guarantee that I remember where my stuff is at. Because once I do this, everything will fall off, and then I won't remember anything that I did. So once I take a picture, I'll go back and I'll refer back to my picture, and I'll start gluing. So for this class, let me see. Let me cut out, let me see. I think I want to cut out February. And again, when you start glue, it's up to you how you glue. You don't need to glue it. You can glue it sideways. It's up to you how you glue. How you put your collage together is up to you. Just as long as when you're cutting, you leave a border. Remember, the border is going to help you with your background, because it's going to isolate your word, and it'll bring it to the front. Your eye will be able to see the word better, because sometimes when we have a lot of things in the background, it's really hard for us to focus on one thing. And so putting a solid color in between two busy pieces will help bring out the word that's on top, or whatever it is that you have above. Okay. Again, I'm trying to cut, leaving a border so I see the black, or whatever color you use. You don't necessarily need to use the colors that I have. You can use whichever colors you want. I have this one. I have the cake, and let me cut one more. I will cut this one. Okay. Keeping in mind that this I think that I need to figure out where to put this one. Okay, so now I have 3 that I've cut. I'm gonna see, do I want it here? Do I want it on this side? I think I'm gonna put it on this side because I don't want to have everything facing the same direction. I want it to be a little bit more playful. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a sheet of paper. Don't get the drawing paper or the watercolor paper. Just get like a I don't have printer paper with me now. I just tore out a piece of scratch paper that I have from one of my notebooks. And then I'm going to put the paper underneath and glue, especially the corners, because if you've ever used glue sticks, they are very messy and sometimes they don't glue that well. And they're so expensive, by the way. They're like $1 each, especially like the corners. And I don't want to put the glue on my surface because it's going to get messy. And also, because your fingers have oil, your fingers will turn black for some reason, especially because I used the black construction paper. So I'm going to place it on this end. I'll put it in the middle here. And then I'm just going to very lightly press. I'm going to grab onto my paper, making sure that it's not dirty. Place it on top and then rub like this. This is going to help you keep your work neat. I have been doing this for years. Like I said, one of my professors taught us this trick, because if you were to glue it like this, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to rip the February or something off, because paper is very fragile, especially magazine paper. And then you're going to get it dirty and it's going to look sloppy, and then all of a sudden you'll have like pieces of glue or glue stick. It's just going to look gross. And I hate messy things, because you've worked all this time to do something and then all of a sudden it's messy. You don't want that. And remember, I've told you guys presentation counts. So it counts a lot in anything that you do. The way you dress, the way you, when you are trying to find a job, or the way you present something. If you're doing a presentation board in one of your science classes or your English classes, and if it's messy, the teacher will realize that it's messy, and they're not going to be that thrilled about it, or they're not going to be happy, because messy things don't look good. So then if you have something solid, you could do this. I have a stick, but I have no idea where it is. Make sure that it's pressed down, okay, that it's glued all the way down. And now I move on to my next section. So for me, because I'm doing this different and I'm kind of just doing it as the classes go by, it's a lot harder. But if you were to have everything set in place and then take a picture and then glue it, it probably will look better. Let me put, let me see. So then my next one is cake. I think I'm going to put it on this side, like this. Again, get my paper. Make sure that I have all the edges in the middle part. I'm going to glue it this way so it kind of matches that one a little bit. And then I'm going to put my paper on top. Press down. Make sure it's glued all the way. Okay. Then I move on to my next section. I have this one. Do I want to cut another one? Do I want to... I probably will cut this. I'll try to cut it here so I don't have to cut again. As long as I'm being consistent and neat and I don't leave like a big section like this, you want to cut it enough that you could see the black or whatever color you have, but not so big that it's going to take over other parts that you need to fill. And even. So I will glue this here on top. Same process. Always using something underneath. So you might need more than one scratch papers. Also, when you are doing this, if you do it the way I am telling you at the beginning, just to spread them evenly, it'll help you because you don't want to have a collage and have everything on one corner and then have this empty space because it's going to look unfinished. The way we see things symmetrical and we want to see things full. So if we have everything on one side, unless that's your intention, it's probably going to look unfinished, and I will think, let's say that I were to fill and I were to leave this big gap. Like, why is that big gap there? I need to fill it. Especially with a collage, the more things you put, the better it'll look, because that's what a collage is. You cut stuff and you put it on top of things, and you can overlap. So if I want to overlap something, I can do that. I'm going to cut the Aquarius out so you can see. The Aquarius is really tiny, and that'll help me overlap it with another word. And if you add the larger words first, you can overlap the smaller ones. If you have leftover ones and you want to just put them. Again, if you have leftover things, you can also save them for your portfolio. So I have this, and I'll put it here. Since I already have something on this side, I'll put it here, and I've overlapped it a little bit. Making sure that I press. And if for some reason I realize that the T's coming off, well, guess what? I need to glue it. I need to make sure that everything is glued together, because paper is really messy and sometimes things fall off. Okay, so again, have your collage ready to go, right? I would suggest you cut everything first, then have your painting ready. Start moving things around, making sure to see what you like better. If you don't like that design, then move it. Remember, we talked about composition in photography. It's the same thing. Composition is in anything, especially with art. The way you arrange things and the way you place things in a certain way, that's what makes the art piece look better. It's not just the way you do something like you're painting. It's the way you paint it and the sections that you use. So arrangement counts. Composition counts a lot, especially in art. So again, once I have once I have everything that I need, then I will take a picture of it. I will move everything out, because if you don't glue it, you'll move it out. And then you'll start with the larger ones and then move on to the smaller sections. If you have more than 10, you can definitely keep them for the next assignment, or you can just overlap them. Okay, it's okay if it looks like there's a lot of things. I probably will add something here. I just wanted to give you some tips. So you can do horizontal, you can do vertical. Make sure that when you're gluing, you have something that'll help you. When you glue the paper and then put the paper on top, make sure that you are gluing and you have a paper on top, because otherwise it's going to get really messy. When you finish everything, make sure that you have at least 10. And then the same thing, you just take a picture and you attach it. But before you start doing this, make sure you have taken a picture of your collage first. Make sure you've taken a picture of your painting first, the one that isn't like this, because this is one assignment and this is a separate assignment, and then at the end this will be a third assignment. So remember, I said it's very important that you do both of the painting and the collage, because this will be the third assignment. Once you finish it and you glue it, you just attach it, and that's that. Okay, again, remember, cut neat, leave the same width on each side. And if you're gonna cut something like the visual one, you can go along and cut with the way you arrange the letters. They don't have to be straight, because it's gonna look funny if I were to cut visual straight. Like I have a big gap here and a big gap here, so I kind of go in and follow the curve that the letter has. Okay, tomorrow, once I finish everything and I'm done with 6th period, I will have finished the collage and I will upload it for you so you can see it. Okay, and also the video. Okay, make sure that you take a picture before and that you attach it to Schoology. This is due on Saturday.